All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk about what ADRIEN, the problem Broner, had to say about Showtime boxing. Errol, Spence, Terence, Crawford, and the future of boxing on that network with the PBC. Very interesting take from him. Also, some stuff out on the media. Going to give you my take about it in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we are going to be talking about some financial things related to the world of boxing. ADRIEN Broner took to, I do believe it was on Instagram yesterday. A lot of people are talking about it, where he said something very, basically cast a lot of doubt on the future of the relationship between Premier Boxing Champions and which is the organization run by Al Heyman and Showtime. Also said some things about Errol Spence Jr. and what Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford, what the problem with that fight could be. Basically said, man, we may be fighting on Twitter soon. Now, before I get into the details of that, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos, which we do on a daily basis. Also, if you are a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, please, thank you so much for continuing to support the channel. It really does mean, really does mean a lot. Thank you so much to even my critics like Motorsports Sports, who definitely supports in the super chat and in the Cash App, and in the super thanks that you can see below on this video. Even though we disagree, always great conversations. Thank you for your support. All right, so let's get into this. So doom and gloom everywhere for the PBC on YouTube over some things that have been said, right? Now, first and foremost, the Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford fight has not been able to be made yet. ADRIEN Broner is on Instagram and he starts talking about what's going on with Showtime. Very funny guy, man. I'm telling you, ADRIEN Broner is a hilarious dude. He said, look, man, before too long, before too long, we're going to be fighting on Twitter. He says there's no guaranteed money for Errol Spence or Terence Crawford. Neither one of those guys can get guaranteed money for the fight. Everything's going on pay-per-view. Word is that Stephen Espinoza is not going to be around, right? Just a lot of doom and gloom about the PBC now and the relationship with Showtime. But why? Because of what's going on with Showtime and the upper level management of Showtime and the parent company of Showtime, which I believe is Paramount. I read an article that a lot of people are referring to, right? And it talked about what was going on with Showtime and how Showtime may not survive as a standalone entity. Right? Talks about a breakup of, basically it started a couple years ago when Les Moons, who was like the head of content creation or something like that, left, and they were looking for this guy, David Nevins, to take his place. But when David Nevins didn't take his place, it wound up being that somebody else took his place. So David Nevins became a little bit disheartened, and before too long, David Nevins winds up leaving. So now David Nevins has announced his departure from this organization, and then a bunch of financial experts in this article predict what it signals, right? Not telling you what's going to happen for sure, but people that work at different professors at different organizations who, at different colleges or institutions that basically keep track of the marketplace and the communications space, and is paying attention to, when one company is buying another company, when they're splitting up, how they're doing their content, right? And all of those type of things that have come with pretty much the shift between entertainment being on your television, right, with a bunch of different standalone companies or channels, to what we have now, where there's a lot, where streaming is the future. Well, actually, it's really kind of the present, because I don't do anything but stream. right? And you have the way the channels are sold and purchased changes, right? All that kind of stuff goes into play, and that's what they're talking about. Now, people are taking from that means that boxing at Showtime is going away. Now, I want to be really clear with this. I don't know what is going to happen. And honestly, neither does anybody that was writing those articles. And you can tell that because that's what they say in the article. They say this is what signals it. This person is leaving. It's very personality driven and also just saying, okay, well, this has happened before, so this may happen now. Here's the fact of the matter is, if you look at or at least the portion I don't think a lot of people are paying attention to, and I'm going to get to the effects on Errol, Spence, and Terence, Crawford, and the fight and all of that, is that when you're talking about boxing, you're talking about content. When you're talking about like Steven Espinosa and whether or not he's going to be there and when, and whether or not Showtime is going to be a standalone entity or not, you're talking about the distribution, right? So you have a bunch of, when they say standalone, right? Like DAZN is a standalone application. You don't buy it along with other channels, right? Other things. So, but when you buy like HBO Max, you get all the Showtime movies, you get a bunch of like Stars movies, right? So they're not Stars, HBO, all of those are not being sold as independent standing entities, right? Now I'm not sure if you can still buy HBO and get HBO, by itself, but now there's HBO Max, which you get Cinemax, you get all of these other things along with that, right? Your ESPN also, when you buy ESPN Plus or ESPN Plus, I do believe you also buy that with Disney, the Disney Channel. You might actually get that with Hulu. Now you can also, a lot of these shows are now being shown on Amazon Prime. They're being shown on all of these different places, right? The same content produced by these same places are now being able to be consumed across multiple platforms. That is what I think that they're referring to when they say Showtime as a standalone entity. Means that when they produce content, that it will not just be available strictly through Showtime. It will, that content, whether it is Shameless or whatever other shows they have, will be available through multiple other places. That does not mean that they will not continue to produce content. And when you talk about boxing, you're talking about content, right? Each particular Showtime boxing is content, live, real-time content. Now, so that just because they start selling Showtime in a different way does not mean that they're going to do away with Showtime and stop producing the content. Those are two different things. Also, when you talk about what's been going on in Showtime with the no guarantees and all of that, now here's my speculation, right? Is that they have not been offering large guarantees for a while now, right? Why would that be? Because when with all of this uncertainty within any organization, the executives in that organization are going to ensure that their particular areas of responsibility are not going to be operating at a loss. Right. So and that they are revenue producing, or that they are right, or that they for whatever they bring, that value proposition is there for whoever is going to be managing it above. So what does putting everything on pay-per-view do? Putting everything on pay-per-view means that you're not taking a lot of budget, right? And you are actually getting customers that buy in. Now, also, what did that article say specifically about Showtime? He said that now Showtime's subscriptions have dropped right now, but what they said was that they have a very, very big and loyal fan base, right? Or a very, very big subscriber base. And that subscriber base that Showtime has is very, very valuable. Now, they will be able to tell you what percentage of that fan base is associated with boxing. And I promise you, they are not just going to ball all that up and throw it away and stop doing that. It actually may have the effect if it becomes no longer standalone. It very well may have the effect that now that it's not standalone, they may be less interested in the profit or loss specifically associated with boxing and be able to put more money into it so that they make sure that they keep that fan base and don't lose it to ESPN. Right. So I just wouldn't jump into all of these conclusions about how this stuff is affecting boxing, right? And what it will do with boxing. Because again, boxing is content. It is not the organization. It's not a matter of distribution with the boxers. The boxers are the actual content that is truly valued, and the subscribers that want to see those that particular type of content. Those organizations, the bigger that organizations get, they still see that particular audience wants to see movies. They want to buy products from Amazon. They want to do all these other things. The idea that they're going to get rid of the product because of these consolidations or change in ways in which they distribute things, it's just not obviously that's the case. But anyway, just wanted to give you my 2 cents on that. No, it's not a sensational video or anything like that, but I read the article. I listened to what ADRIEN Broner said. Generally speaking, I paid attention to all of this stuff going on in multimedia and shifting of applications and buying different, I call them applications. You can call them networks, and how they've been able to be consumed by me in my own house. And I'm telling you, that just because it's no longer standalone doesn't mean that they're going to throw Shameless away and throw all the content out the window. No, or that they're not going to be interested in a sport that has been a long-lasting sport that has a significant fan base and just stop providing. And you may wind up in a situation where once they do whatever they do, the guy can say, look, man, we're going to budget X amount of money, put a bigger amount of budget on it, and do what ESPN is doing, where they're giving guys $3-4-5 million guarantees instead of having to rely on pay-per-view, because they don't have to pay so close attention to their books, because now that the consolidation is passed, they can now be in the mode of trying to grow instead of trying to prepare themselves for whatever it is that their new owners may think about them. Right. So anyway, that's what I think on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.